All right, album 491 is the wonderful Harry Styles' Harry's House. It was released on May 20th of 2022. Maybe some recency bias,
Hmm.
maybe not, depending on who you are. Um, Depending on our take on this one, they're going to come for us in the comments. This one is put out basically through Sony Records, through their imprint Columbia, through their imprint Erskine. It's Sony Records. Kid Harpoon and Tyler Johnson are two of the credited producers on there. I think this one generally comes from the U.S., but I mean Harry is not American, so I put UK and US on there.
Hmm.
Sure, we'll give him some love. This is Harry's third album, which I just thought his other albums were part of One Direction. I didn't know he had other solos up to this point, um, but yeah. So this is Harry's House. Kyle, what did you think of Harry's House?
Hey, it's Kyle. Just jumping in real quick to ask, do you approve this groove? Let us know in the comments. Give us a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation. This is another one of those albums that I am glad to have decided to listen to this list for. If you
You
had,
were just saying how much you love Tool. Um,
I and like I've always wanted to be open-minded with the music that I listen to. In practice, that hasn't always worked out, but I always want to give things a shot. This is something that 6 months ago I probably never would have bothered with and would have written off as most likely something that I figured was just formulaic top 40 pop trash. And I am so glad to have been wrong about that because I
sure.
really, really, really liked this album. It
What songs did you like? Like what were you drawn to?
so this was the first album that has introduced me to a new genre of music. Like first album on this list
Mm,
that has like actually brought something beyond just this album. Like reading through and listening through and listening to it, there was something there that I could tell was heavily influenced by something else, but I didn't know what it was. And it took a little bit of digging to see that he in this album was influenced by Japanese city pop.
mm,
And then I went and listened to some Japanese city pop, and I was like, that's what I like about the Harry Styles album. Like, this album introduced me to an entire new genre of music that I now enjoy listening to. I was pleasantly, very pleasantly surprised by how much I liked this album, how much life and depth it had, how much it pulled from a wide variety of genres. You know, he talked a lot about that Japanese city pop influence, but there's a lot of jazz and R&B in there too that was just a lot of fun and very satisfying to listen to. I think the one thing with this one that I had a little bit of a hesitation with was some of the programmed drums kind of felt a little stiff at times, but otherwise, yeah, this is by far these first 10 albums. This is by far my favorite.
yeah. So all right. So I had heard this album shortly after it came out. Um, as you may know, I sometimes dabble in refinishing old furniture,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like doing that sort of stuff. And as I'm doing that in my garage, I was like, hey, what do I want to listen to? And this album had gotten a lot of buzz, and it was like, oh, cool, I'll be part of the zeitgeist. I'm hip, I'm cool, I'm with it. So I remember I spun this album while I was working, and I mean, I want to make sure music from a sushi restaurant. The first track, like that one, grabbed me.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. Yep.
like the layered vocal melody, the horn, like the pseudo horn, the faux horns. I mean, the I don't think it's stream of consciousness, but like the disconnected lyrics, like literally just painting a picture, like you said, you can close your eyes and um, so it's not surprising. I'm unfamiliar with what was it? Japanese street pop? Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
city pop, Japanese city pop.
City pop? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've never heard of that genre, but I believe you. Um, but like, and then when I hear you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that must be what this is. I think that song is the one that I will like carry with me
Hmm.
to the point where I listened to it tonight, and that earworm of a like that faux horn line just got me, and I was like humming it or whistling it, and my 6 year old was humming it too. And she goes, "Dad, were you humming?" And then she hums it. I was like, "Well, this is what I was listening to." I had my headphones in. I took them out, and this is what I was listening. She goes, "Oh yeah, we played that in PE today. Mister So and So played that. I heard that today." I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
That's fun." Um, like that just sticks with you.
Yeah.
Now the other tracks on here, I mean, as it was blew up. I mean, that was all over TikTok. I mean, like crazy. Um, and a couple other songs on this album, or at least one other. Which one was it? Yeah, that one really took off. Matilda is another one that people liked a lot. I didn't connect to that one as much, but if all this album gave me was music from a sushi restaurant, that would be enough.
Yeah.
Like it would be enough for me.
Yeah.
Um, I dig that one. I like it.
Yeah. That was the
Um,
standout song I had written down too.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise, but I mean, as it was is really good too. Um, I don't think it's interesting. I think he has better songs. Um, he has put out better like more captivating songs, but when you talk about an album, right,
Hmm.
as a curated piece of
Yeah.
work, like yeah, it makes sense to me. I
Yeah.
could see. I mean, there's some recency bias, I'm sure, but like, I mean, this is a huge album.
Oh yeah.
It charted. I mean, it charted all over the place. But I mean, it won 3 Grammy Awards. Yeah, it won 3 Grammy Awards: Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album, and Best Engineered Album in the non-classical category. Um, so sure, I'll let them have that. But I mean, it won Album of the Year. I mean, it won a boatload of other stuff: American Music Awards, MTV Video Music Awards, People's Choice Awards, Brit Awards. Like, I mean, it won a lot. It charted #1 on more countries than I care to list. I mean, across the world,
Yeah.
it charted at #1. Now, what we've been talking about platinum certified records a couple times. I think it is worth noting that like this album is firmly in the streaming area,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
people aren't going out to FYE and buying
Right,
the
yeah.
CD.
No.
So I mean, it still went multi-platinum in the U.S., in the UK.
That's wild.
There you go. Right, we talk about the levels of platinum in other countries. To go platinum in Hungary, you have to sell 4,000 records. So it is 4 times platinum in Hungary.
All right.
Um, yeah. So if we wanted to chart somewhere, maybe we'll start in Hungary. Um, but yeah, I mean, it critically, commercially, everything. This album like blew. And again, like I came to know this album. No free ads. I listen to the Rolling Stone podcast every once in a while when it's interesting, and they had a review of this album, and like so I kind of listened to that as a precursor to actually hearing it, so I'd have some context. Um, I mean, this was all over the place. The artwork is fun. Like, it's just fun. It's a fun record.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
What did you score it?
And I gave this a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, meaning there are songs on this that I would definitely go back to and
yeah.
listen to again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I would plug along with with this album is, if you haven't, check out his Tiny Desk concert.
I've seen them. I haven't
Yeah.
seen this one.
he has a Tiny Desk concert, and it's really good.
Cool.
I mean, the only song
Awesome.
going into this album, the only Harry Styles song that I knew was Watermelon Sugar.
Watermelon
Yeah.
Sugar High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only, I mean, even listening through this album, I didn't recognize any songs.
Really
Yeah. I
interesting.
no.
I mean, I knew I had never heard the music from a sushi restaurant. I knew as it was, but Watermelon Sugar High and then Sign of the Times to me is like to me Sign of the Times is probably my favorite. It's so funny to say because I never thought I would have said this. This Sign of the Times is probably my favorite hairstyle song. But so you should check that one
Hmm.
out. That's so funny. I'm definitely not a One Direction guy, but well, that's not true. They've got some bangers in there too. So
Hey, thanks for watching. We'd love to know what you think of this album, so let us know in the comments. Do you approve this groove? And as always, a quick thumbs up helps a lot. Subscribe so you can see all 500 albums, and we'll see you on the next record.